very best thing you can do is help your competitor.
Yeah.
Even give them advice, secrets, just help them. Because as you say, it comes around.
Hmm.
Where and they stop becoming competitors, and then they become associates or whatever. Wonderful things have happened through us doing things which are unorthodox
And applying these universal
and
laws.
applying.
I'm just so honored to have you here on the channel today, John. And if you don't know about John White, he is the inventor of the Spooky 2 and many other amazing devices such as PEMF devices, Scalar devices, and he's just doing such an amazing mission on this planet to help people heal uh, with Rife Frequency and energy healing. So I'm so excited to have you here today. And how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, Lisa. Thanks for that lovely introduction. No, I'm keeping very well, thank you.
I wanted to ask you, how did you first get started? How did you first discover Rife Frequencies? Like, what made you get into this field?
Well, it was totally by accident, I guess. You know how the universe quite often nudges you in a certain direction. Um, I started an electrical apprenticeship as an electrician, believe it or not, quite a few years ago. And so I did my apprenticeship. I finished the apprenticeship early because I got reasonable grades. And so I decided to venture in other directions, still electrically based. So I got my degrees in electronics and electrical and computer principles, again a few years ago. And as I was doing these courses, there were a few family catastrophes with health, and we lost a few members of the family. And I felt, even though I had this young, this youth, the youthfulness of being able to do everything, I was helpless to do anything. And so I decided, well, I'm going to dig and try and find solutions to poor health. And Lisa, for all the studies I've done, all the formal studies I've done, they don't even touch on the human body or the application of resonance for healing, which is just crazy. That should be on the first day when you first walk through the door. That should be the first thing they talk about. But no, they talk about the boring stuff and all the things, a lot of things which won't be applicable. It's like in high school, you learn a lot of things and you just never use it through your lifetime. But the important things they really should instill in people. And I can only guess as to why they don't make it formal studies. They don't even teach plasma, a plasma field. Um, a plasma field is more common than any other field in the universe, and I don't touch it during any of the higher teachings of electronics. They focus down on the nitty-gritty and don't look at the more important things. And I asked myself, why not mention plasma? Plasma is so utterly important. Most people are familiar with chemical plasma when they look at fire. Why aren't we taught it in physics, even at high school, just the basics? Because plasma's got several properties, Lisa, which is amazing for healing, but it's just never taught. So, okay, I went down the other roads and ended up now where I am, where I decided, no, I will turn what I've learned into equipment.
Yeah.
I'll make it real cheap, I'll make it real good. I'll make it so as many people as possible can use them, so they don't have to go through what I went through or what our family went through. We all die, um, but to prolong it as long as possible, and probably even more importantly, have a quality of life
Yeah.
before you die. I know that when I die, I want to die with a smile on my face. I want to die racing, doing something, and having done a lot. I don't want to be bedridden for the last years of my life. I don't want to be in pain. I
Mm.
want to enjoy and participate in family. And I'm sure these thoughts are shared by your audience as well. And so, okay, you can extend life, you can put yourself onto a ventilator and you can be a living dead if you like, but true life is participation, enjoyment, and health. So a lot of the products which I've developed focus on the health aspect, right, as well as keeping someone above ground.
Yes. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing your message as well, because like you said, it's not so much about the duration. Of course, we all want a long life, but it's also about the quality of life, because like we talked about earlier, without health, you can't do anything. Health is like the foundation of everything. So, and also, I've actually seen a video a few days ago where someone talked about Tesla, how he was experimenting with vibration and frequency, and how he actually, like in the late 1800s, his machine actually started almost blowing up his building because it caused so much vibration, and people thought it was an earthquake. So it definitely, it is so powerful and it works.
Absolutely. Now, what Nikola Tesla was doing with all machines, he was in applied frequency and enormous quantities of energy. And so it's not fighting against what's natural, but just enhancing it, if you like. And doing this, he did amazing things. He was transmitting power with very little losses, much better than wires today, over great distances. Um, but he was way ahead of his time. Even if he was doing his things now, he's still ahead of his time.
Yes.
Um, unless it's kept under wraps and used for weapons against other countries or something. But the technology which he was inventing and then refining is absolutely astounding. He, yeah, there's several pioneers that I really admire. Nikola Tesla is one of them. Royal Rife is another man who was well ahead of his time, who had the best wishes at heart, but unfortunately, those wishes weren't shared with everyone around at the time. So,
Mhm.
what he knew, much of what he knew, he took to his grave. So it's a shame, but it's the world that we live in. Over commercialization, things aren't done unless profit can be made.
Yeah.
So many things which, in my soul, I know are wrong, but it's just the way it is. Everything is profit. That's everything.
Yeah.
Everything is
We'll,
terrible.
we'll talk about that in a second. I have a question for you on that later. um, Without trying to get demonetized here on YouTube, but do you want to share maybe your presentation about what Rife frequencies, like how they work?
Sure. Well, I've got a presentation ready, so I'll share my screen and show you what I've got, and then we can talk about it. Okay. Share. Right. Is that coming through?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. Okay. So let's see if I can click on. So we were talking about Royal Raymond Rife. He invented this microscope here, which still to this day hasn't been replicated. It's a visible light microscope, which allows you to see bugs that are live rather than dead, which is what an electron microscope does. Even though this has got comparable magnifications to an electron microscope, you can see the movement of the microorganisms. So you can see the effect of the frequencies, and you can see which frequencies kill them. And this is precisely what Royal Rife uses microscopes for. And Nikola Tesla, the gentleman that you mentioned earlier, he truly understood the significance of resonance, frequency, and vibration. I'm not sure that that's a gentleman that shatters a wine glass using his voice. And this is using loudspeakers, this glass here. There, it's broken. That's applying the exact frequency that the glass needs to become resonant and then break. Okay, we call ourselves Spooky 2 because another friend of ours, Albert Einstein, he termed the phrase spooky action at a distance because he couldn't explain quantum entanglement. He spent a large portion of his life trying to work it out and didn't quite get there. And we eventually called ourselves Spooky 2. Equals MC squared is actually spooky squared, but it's just Spooky 2. Okay, now we've got a mission from the very, very, very first day, Lisa, to eliminate all illnesses. Our vision is to empower people to take control over their own health. That means making our devices so that they're affordable. We don't want to have huge pockets. We just want to have a world that's felt the impact of the healing features of our machines, and with happiness and joy, because there's no point having a long life and being miserable. Well, I can think of a few people that are doing that now, but there's no real point to it. There's no reward in it.
Yeah.
And we truly value love, compassion, and honesty over profit. Now, everyone follows their own path. I know your channel is a spiritual channel. I'm a Buddhist. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that things that I do now will affect my future lives, or if I can break out from this realm, then I can go even higher. And so my focus, and indeed our focus, is to look after our customers, not to turn them into Buddhists or anything like this, but just make them understand that there are solutions out there. Okay. This is other charity work that we do. In this particular case, it's local, a car park. It's us, that's the company. We're setting live animals free. Those are turtles. Turn the volume down a little bit. And fish. We do this roughly once every month. We buy these, the produce destined for the kitchen table, and we set it free again. We go and do it. Because animals have got souls. We care for all life. There's my daughter. She gets involved. Okay, so those are two sort of things that we do. We do more things as well. We do work with orphanages, hospitals. It's where our money goes. We want to raise humanity, and so that's the reason why Spooky was formed. One of the reasons, was certainly we were piping the money. We've shown the presentation for the Nepal area, but we do global. So even America, countries which have disasters, we support charities there. We choose the charities which do actually take them. Wow. They are run by volunteers, and the money does actually make its way to the end. We don't get,
And that's a whole other topic.
Oh yeah. Now this gentleman, they've got a photograph of him before and after,
wow,
showing his tumor. You see the tumor on his chin, that's gone. You can see the difference. X-rays proving.
He looks different too.
Yes, absolutely. Now people might be asking, well, what actually is Spooky 2? Or Spooky 2 is comprised of software, frequency generators. We have two different types. And we've got different types of machines for applying the frequencies. We've got contact mode, we've got plasma, remote, pulsed EMF, cold laser. I think that's covering everything. Sound, audio as well. And for biofeedback, we've got three different kinds of biofeedback. We've got one kind of biofeedback that uses our high-end generator. Another one is our pulse unit that measures your pulse and listens to your body. And your body's telling Spooky which frequencies are the ones to use. And also a scalar digitizer. One of the devices we have is a scalar device, which is working in the field that Nikola Tesla was working in. But instead of using it for power transmission, it's using it for health. When Nikola Tesla was using his scalar machines, he made a side note in his journals that he always felt invigorated afterwards. But he's only one man, so I guess there's only so much he can do. And so he was focusing always on the very large machines. But that's one thing that he noted. So we've got different ways of applying the healing frequencies. Now, the software can be downloaded at this link here. It's free. It's always going to be free. Anything from Spooky to run the software. And you can see what kind of things Spooky 2 can treat by looking through the database that's inside the program and just have a play with it. In fact, I recommend that people do have a play, even if they're right on the, even if they're non-believers, just have a look and see what other people are using to their advantage. Now, nobody wants to be sick. People get sick because their bodies have less energy. It could be that their meridians are blocked. It could be that they're being spiritually attacked. There can be a multitude of reasons. And if for each reason, there's a different best way of resolving the problem. Now, Spooky 2 is multifaceted. You'll see in the database, there's programs which are not purely physical. There's aura, for example, just above blood pressure balance 2. There's aura. Well, aura is your energy field that's around everybody. And that particular program helps that aura to grow a little bit stronger, a little bit larger, and more symmetrical. So in the database are programs which have been carefully designed to help healing in different ways. There's other ones for the 7 meridians. There's Songs of the Spine, which is quite a good program for people that have got sore back issues, but quite often there could be nerves, and that particular program is very good for that. Now, we have a website which covers audio healing. This is our Frequency Heals website. And if I click on there, maybe something will play in the background, or maybe not. Okay. This was one of our programs. I think this is our sleep program. But we've got programs here, and you can see none of these are particularly specific health related, but they are. If your crown chakra is blocked, you're going to get, you're going to have real health issues. We focus more on the spiritual side and the gentle art of healing with this particular website. So that's the Frequency Heals, using the audio frequencies for healing. I'll throw in a couple of testimonials, seeing as they're here. These are people that are real people, and they've sent some testimonials to us.
Hello, I'm Marion from the Netherlands, and I'm a mother of 4 boys. I'm connected with nature, and I'm always looking for a natural way to support my body. I use essential oils for me and my family, and this has already helped me getting rid of several medicines and helped me through tough emotional times. Some time ago, a friend of mine introduced me to Spooky. I never heard of it, but she told me good things about it and the results she experienced. I have heavy migraines that force me to stay in bed all day. Not something you want, especially not with 4 young children to take care of. I also have allergies and sensitivity to several things, like hay fever and cat allergies. She offered me treatment with her equipment. Because of Spooky Remote, it was possible to start the program even though we are living far apart. She just needed a piece of memory and put it in a remote and started the detox program. I noticed during detox that my body really tried to get rid of certain things and kept close contact with my friend what the detox program did, and sometimes put it on pause to let my body catch up with the detoxing, drinking plenty of water. After that, we did a biofeedback scan, and she put on a program for me,
That shows our
using the
generator.
results of the scan, but also adding some programs for my health issues, the migraine and the hay fever. It is great to tackle the issues with the biofeedback scan. It detects frequencies we wouldn't think of, but may be the root of the problem. Not just quick fixing feels right for me. I don't want one health issue to be suppressed only for the body finding another way to get rid of cause. My allergies are much better already. The symptoms are not popping up as fast, and when they do, it's very mild. After the detoxing, I didn't have a migraine attack anymore. We keep running migraine programs with biofeedback results to be sure, but apparently the cause of my migraines was too much toxins in the first place. We treated my painful shoulder, bringing relief with cold laser in the coil. I would advise to try Spooky if you want to support your whole body and get rid of health issues. Not just by treating that specific symptoms or disease, but use the Spooky technology to dig deeper and find frequencies that might be the real cause of your discomfort. You don't need any knowledge to use this. There are very helpful videos and Facebook pages that will get you started. You don't need a medical background. The protocol does the work for you. For me, it has already made a huge difference, and it gave me back control over my health.
It's kind of cool, you know, and what she says at the end, that's my first time of watching that video. But that's what we are all about, to give people the control, to empower people to take control over their own health. That's yeah. Because when my family were, when members of my family, the elderly, were getting sick, I felt totally disempowered. I couldn't do a thing. For all the knowledge I'd gained in all my studies, there's nothing I could do. And so I'm now doing something which is quite exciting, because as well as helping other people, it's sort of, you know, it means they will never be in that position. They don't have a reason to be in that position. And there's just one more I'd like to squeeze in, Lisa, if you don't mind.
Hi, my name's Joe, and I live in the United States, and I am a veteran of military over here. And I recently ran across Rife treatment on the internet, and it looked and sounded interesting. So I went a little further to see what companies were involved, and the Spooky 2 was clearly had more information and was more customer friendly than the other brands right off the bat. So I gravitated naturally towards them, and I got a GX Pro, and then I ordered 2 XM remote packs, I believe, or an essentials pack with 2 XM generators. And I just ordered a XM remote pack. I've had this device for about a little over 2 weeks, and it's completely changed everything. It's made my depression feel so much better and faster and quicker than any other treatment I've tried. including SSRIs and all types of pharmaceutical drugs. And wow, it's just incredible. I'm still speechless, and I'm still learning and finding out. And it's helped me personally so far. With everything I've tried, it's accurate. Like, I can feel it working in the area in which it describes. And I would recommend to anybody who wants to improve their health. Thank you so much for making this available.
Cool. So there we have it. Another happy camper. But it's true, you know, we are different from other companies. We don't focus on just the profit side. We focus more on the people, and not just on the. We focus on global issues as well. Not, you know, we are always trying to think, well, how do we make a positive change to this or to that? Okay, so we've got the testimonials, and I mean, we'll just, I guess you don't want to spend too much time on this, but these people have bought different devices. This is our generator X, the top of our line generator.
I just want to share with you guys who are watching, this is the one that I'm using as well, and it's powerful.
Yeah, it does the work. Have you used it for biofeedback, Lisa?
Yes, I absolutely love it. It's helped with my allergies. I've had allergies since I was a kid. I'm using it to treat my autoimmune disease. So many things. I've also used a cold laser, which helps with carpal tunnel if you're on the computer a lot. And I have thoracic outlet syndrome, which is basically like nerve compression, pain in the shoulder, and it really helps with that.
Good. Okay, so that's the generator X, and there's another testimonial talking about our plasma unit. That's quite a long testimonial, but what quite often happens, Lisa, is one person buys, say, our plasma device, and then they lend it out to their friends or other members of the family. It's kept very, very busy. That people borrow it. So so that's a little peek there of our plasma unit. We've got two types of plasma tubes. You've got this one, and you've got one that copies the original Royal Rife one. And that's the end of the presentation. So take control of your health and mind energy. So
I had a question for you, because this is so dear to my heart. I had a similar story as you with, you got so passionate about healing because you couldn't help your family members. So my stepdad just passed away a couple of weeks ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Due to cancer. And my question is, because it was such a sign for me, because I received the Generator X Pro right when around his diagnosis, which was 2 months ago. And I was so eager to help him, and he looked into it and he didn't want to accept the treatment. He was very skeptical about it. Maybe he thought the cancer was already it was too late already, because it was pretty advanced. So what would you say to a person who is highly skeptical about Rife Frequencies? Obviously, everybody has free will, right? But what would you say to a person that you really want to help, but that would probably not be skeptical about it?
Most people are skeptical. They're skeptical because they look in websites on the internet, and there's tremendous amount of effort to make natural treatments of all sorts of different kinds. The modalities which are good, they're making it sound like it's only got limited effectiveness, if any. And so it's a bit of an uphill battle trying to truly convince someone. For some people, we have said, well, try it for a short period of time. And if you don't see any change, then stop. Unfortunately, a lot of people have got closed minds, but for the fortunate souls that haven't got closed minds, they will be open to trying things as long as it doesn't harm them. And none of our devices will harm you. There's no risk in our devices. So there's no harm, nothing bad that can happen. And so only good, if there is any change, it can only be good. So what I'd suggest is try and persuade the person just to try it. I've heard of some people doing it on the sly. One of our devices is Spooky 2 Remote, which allows you to treat a person wherever they are without them needing to be connected to any device. And I've known of people that have taken the nails of those people and used those nails to apply the frequencies. I don't know whether I'd encourage that, because part of the healing path is spiritual, and you've got to accept healing modalities to really gain benefit. And I think that if the person was totally oblivious to it and inside opposed to it, his spiritual barriers may be a burden to him. Fortunately, animals don't have this. They respond very well to treatments. They don't have any hang-ups or
Yeah, we can also use it on,
or
on our pets.
Absolutely, and pets love our devices, and we've had so many reports. Unfortunately, we have been asked to take many of our testimonials down, but we still, I believe, have some up. Yeah. But it's the world. It's the world.
Sorry, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Oh, so it's just what we are. It's the world we live in now that we've got to just accept how, what we can and can't sort of promote. But if someone is saying, okay, it's not going to work, you can ask the question, well, can I have one of your fingernails? And I'll prove to you it does work. You could perhaps say that. And you'd have to be pretty hard-headed to say no to that. If you don't believe that the frequencies do anything, then how on earth can any harm happen? We've got in the Spooky 2 group, we have a small Facebook group of something like 35 or 45,000 people, and an equally small forum with thousands of people, many of whom are fully qualified scientists, general practitioners registered, and they have become believers. And we're certainly not a cult. They have seen it for their own eyes. They're inherently scientific. Don't believe things without proof, and they've seen proof positive through effects on both themselves and other people within their circles from our devices. So I'd just say, well, give a week's trial to a person that's really arguing against it. I'm sorry to hear that of your misfortune with your stepfather. If I could rewind time, I think I'd have the same barrier as you. And then when it does, when the big event happens, then you carry the burden. You think, well, maybe I should have pushed harder or something. We don't do that. It's just, it'll be so good to make people understand, make people look inside you and know what you know. you know, on the spiritual side, you know and have seen things that you'd have real difficulty explaining to a scientist, because they are only seeing what their eyes can see, only hearing what their ears can hear, and nothing more. So really, they're blind, they're mute. They just cannot
Yeah,
really perceive the real world.
it's like love, the most powerful emotion on the planet. It's like, how do you can't prove love scientifically,
No,
but it's still there.
no, that's right. And what's the unit of love? And show me a meter that measures it. That's right. So you can't measure it. You can't. So it's non-existent in their textbooks. And you know, the soul, the human soul, in whatever form you think of it, that is another thing that doesn't exist. But we, each of us, have it and know it exists, but we can't measure it. You know, it can't be seen.
Yeah.
Well, it can be, but you know.
Yeah. So another question that I have for you is, have people, organizations, governments ever tried to shut you down? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Yes, they have tried to shut us down. All of the above, for different reasons. One of them was from other companies that didn't like us growing larger and taking away their profit. The customers were turning to us and they were unhappy. And one particular conversation I had with the owner of one of these companies, I said to them, look, the way I said to him, I've got no beef with you. Okay, why don't you make a product which undercuts us or is better than ours? And I'll be very happy, because I'm always striving for perfection. If they can make something better than what we can do, then it's perfect. That's the last I heard of them. but verbally, but we got letters after that, but it wasn't from them, it's from their lawyer. And in that particular case, it prevented us from doing what we really wanted to do. That did prevent us from releasing one product. But I can't go into details too much. But for virtually all the other cases, we've just through sheer stupidity and stubbornness refused to back down. We've been threatened, and we've had letters and things, and there's some countries that don't let us in and things, but we normally find workarounds. We don't think along the lines of them versus us. We've got a situation in the world now. We can't really, on our shoulders, we can't change the system. So we've got to work with it to the best that we can. And let's leave it to the universe. Let the universe help us to do what we want to do. With Ho'oponopono and karmic management, if people learn about those two, they understand how they'll have a better understanding on how to work around obstacles. Let's say, for example, you've got a competitor. The very best thing you can do is help your competitor.
Yeah.
Even give them advice, secrets, just help them. Because as you say, it comes around. And they stop becoming competitors, and then they become associates or whatever. You know, wonderful things have happened through us doing things which are unorthodox.
And applying these universal
And applying. Yeah. If there was if there's an ounce of bad in me, it would feel it in its way in our products. There isn't. Everything is in our hearts good. Everything that we're doing. If there's anything that's if there's, what am I trying to say? If there's No, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know, with our machines, for as an example, your generator X, if you were to put it apart, you'll find a sticker on the output connectors. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. That's the Ho'oponopono
Yeah.
mantra. Yeah, that they're so important, those words, and people use those words for selfish ends generally, but it can be even more powerfully applied for non-selfish purposes. And that's what we're doing with our equipment. We're making sure that that message, whether the person knows it or not, they're getting the love being sent to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a sneaky way.
Yeah, words are powerful. And on another note,
Very
I wanted to ask you about autoimmune illnesses because they are on the rise these days. And how do Rife Frequencies work exactly to heal autoimmune illnesses?
Autoimmune illnesses, they're on the rise now, generally because of the weed killer that they use for the crops. They want to cycle the crops fast, and so they make sure that if it's a root crop, they want to get rid of all the top vegetation quickly so the harvester can go in and do the thing. So glyphosate, but I'm sure you listeners know of that. That poison ends up in your system and it throws the spanner in the works, and then your immune system goes out of whack. And then people get things like gluten intolerances. Well, gluten has always been around, and it wasn't a problem 100 years ago. It's because of this glyphosate. Okay, that's the background that no one wanted to hear. But because, okay, there's a spanner in the works, your immune system is out of balance. When you're going for, this is a small tangent, going for an exam, and you're all tensed up and nervous, one of the things that you can do to calm yourself down is just listen to gentle music. And what that's doing is making your body slow down, just making your body become like in harmony with the music. It's entrainment. What our frequencies do is entrain your immune system, which is incredibly complex, by the way. It's not just one organ or a few organs. It's basically your whole body. Each organ has got a part to play in the fight against the unwanted bugs and other things. And what our frequencies do is entrain your body. So instead of it being all random and noisy, it becomes more rhythmic.
Yeah.
And then when your body hasn't got this plethora of signals pass, everywhere, then your body can then identify where the true problem areas are and then target energies towards those areas. When you're in a crowd, you can't hear a single conversation. But if the crowd is quiet, then you can talk with the person next to you. Again, it's just it's making everything sort of become more natural in your body, so that you can your body can work as it's supposed to, as your body's been designed to do.
Yeah, because we naturally heal. I mean, we cut our hand
We can naturally
in a
heal.
week, 3 days, it's gone. So it's just helping that natural healing of the body as well.
Right. That's right. When you cut yourself and you put a bandage on, the bandage isn't doing the healing. It's just keeping everything away and let your body do what it does. Your body's always trying to self-heal. If it's not healing itself, it could be through lack of energy. It could be through distraction because your body's fighting here and fighting there and fighting self. It could be Hashimoto's. It could be any other autoimmune system disease. What our programs do is just try and get the clutter away and just let things calm down so your body can focus on the important areas.
Exactly. And one last question I wanted to ask you before we have to end this interview. I could talk to you for hours. If someone is wanting to develop their spiritual path, How can Spooky 2 help?
To develop a spiritual path is a path of learning. And so you need to do more than just machines. There's no machine that will do learning for you, but there are environments that you can set up to assist you in learning. Now, one way to start and progress your spiritual journey is through meditation. We've got a Scalar unit, which has proven itself invaluable for people meditating, especially groups of people meditating. The scalar field is an information field. Through the scalar field, you can send sacred mantras. And people have done this whilst meditating in massive rooms. A friend of ours, he's got, I don't know how big it is, it's got to be too tall to be legal, but it's about 60 feet high, a huge pyramid, a canvas one with a metal frame. And he has a scalar unit. He's got two actually running in there, but he only needs one. And he finds that is very beneficial for the groups of people that he has on his farm. So Scalar would certainly set up an environment. Another thing you can...
Does Scalar help with like Wi-Fi radiation and things like that? Like, does it help counteract that if you're in a scalar field?
Okay. There's a lot of devices that say that they shield EMF. If you have a EMF meter and you have one of these shields right next to it or anywhere actually, you'll find that the shields do 2/3 of nothing. So really, there's no magic trick to block EMFs. If there were, then scientists would be using it to block noise instead of having to use special rooms with huge shielding devices. We've got one of those rooms here for testing our products. When you're in this room and you close the door, there's no sound, there's no light, there's no nothing, no EMF at all. And that's quite a spiritual experience in itself.
Yeah.
It's one place where there's no signals going through your cells, and you can feel the silence. You can really feel it. So really what you'd look for, Lisa, is something that can help your body handle the fields rather than making this magical bubble around your body. And you do this through health, even basic things like eating, eating the right foods. But also we do have some programs which help your body become stronger against these unwanted fields.
Yeah, I've seen the immune boosting. I don't know what it's called
like
exactly, but yeah,
programs like that. I haven't tested one device which has worked for blocking, and it has been thousands because they're generally quite expensive, but I'm keen to know whether they know something I don't know. But nothing's worked. Even I'm struggling to think of the name of that black rock, but we've got several of those pyramids from Russia. Gosh, mind block, can't remember. Anyway, and scalar is actually the natural way that your cells communicate to each other in your body. How does a cell from one part of your body talk to another cell in a different part of your body when there's quite a large distance? And the cell is so tiny, so the signal is going to be very weak. But somehow your body knows what's happening in other parts of your body. And it's not all in the nerves. There's other pathways as well, as you well know.
Quantum entanglement.
Yes, through quantum entanglement and also through the scalar field. The DNA is a natural scalar receiver antennae.
Yeah.
And so the scalar field is very, very good for general healing. In fact, it healed the tumor. It virtually eliminated a tumor in the breast of a woman that we'd lent a prototype to. And then we we went on a tour around 4 states in America, and we got his text message with photographs showing the proofs, and there's the lab reports and everything saying the true milk was huge, has become smaller than a pea in just a matter of weeks. Only just using the scalar unit, just being in a scalar field, not doing anything fancy like connecting a generator or anything, just turning the unit on and tuning it.
I've looked into scalar healing about a year ago or so, and I love that you make your devices so affordable for everyone, because when I looked into it a year ago, it was a different company, and it was not hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of dollars, like $30,000 to just get one small unit, and it was just insane.
Crazy.
If you wanted if you wanted a full setup, it was over $100,000. So I love how your company makes the devices available as well. And for those of you who are more interested, we have a discount code for my viewers for 5% off, which you can get with Lisa1111. So I'll just put that down below. But yeah, your devices are truly affordable for anyone. And you have different options, right? So if you just want to get started with, I don't know, you have a budget of $100 or $200, you can get started with that, and then you can later on build on your collection, if I can say so.
That's right. They all link together. In fact, that company is one of the companies who went for us because we ruined their business. That Scalar company, they're the ones that went after us. They weren't very happy, and I hope they're watching this video, because hopefully they've become more moral and more spiritual, and hopefully they'll reduce the price of their products, because when you open them up, they're empty. Yeah, they tried to they attacked us on legal grounds, but then we pointed to the fact that young Nikola Tesla, his patent was taken out well over 100 years ago, so it's expired, so we could incorporate his discoveries. So yeah, that was one of the battles, but we won that one. Don't worry about that.
The spiritual in a way as well, these battles, because it's if we look at it in a whole zoomed out perspective, there are agendas and forces that don't want humans to be in their best health, and there's a true agenda on this planet, which I won't go into too much detail here because I don't want to get flagged, but we know what's really going on, and that there are forces trying to suppress health, and that there are agendas out there. So it's good to be mindful about that, even when doing research about Rife Frequencies, because there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. And to just, like you said, try it. Just try it out for yourself. Be your own, do your own experiments, and knowing that this cannot hurt you at all. It can only benefit you.
Right. Yep, exactly.
So, John, thank you for your time. As I said, I could talk to you for hours and hours, but I'm so honored to have had you here today. And I just wanted to thank you for coming on the channel.
Well, the pleasure's all mine, Lisa. Really enjoyed our time.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.